more be present to meet the quorum. So most of the business that we will be discussing today will have to vote at the next month's general meeting. Now we'll do the roll call. Eden Rubenstein, absent. Shirley Lee, present. Grace Torres. John Stewart. Ismat. Junja.
Here.
Alvin Hong.
Here.
Joseph Chow.
Present.
Catherine St-Pierre. And Shirley Jane. Well, oh, and I'm about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, present.
I'm sorry.
I planned.
Oh, I found an error on this one. I'm sorry. So Eden and John Stewart and Isma did inform us previously, so their absence are excused, and other members is running a little late due to the weather conditions currently right now.
Shirley, I'm on Zoom, Shirley.
Oh, yeah, I understand, but
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, that's all.
now, now I'll give the floor to Dr. Dantona for the superintendent report.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shirley. And welcome everyone. I'm super excited. We have some of our students, some of our staff members here. I'm really excited to be with you tonight. So that being said, we'll get started with our CEC reports tonight. Share my screen. Okay, so the items that we're going to be talking about today, just a couple of updates and reminders. We have a few civics for all presentations with Project Soapbox. We have 2 students that are here and 1 student that is on via Zoom to share a call to action that each of them have. I'm really excited for them to be able to present. And I've mentioned during past CEC meetings, DLT meetings, and President's Council meetings, is that it's really important for me to continue to showcase the work that our children are doing, the research that they've done, and the calls to action that they have on things that they themselves are passionate about. So tonight we have 3 separate experiences that we will wind up hearing from our students on, and I'm looking forward to hearing their work. So stay tuned on that. And then the current state of iReady and Acadian's diagnostic information, I will give you guys an update in terms of where we are as of mid-year and the mindset of our work moving forward for the remainder of the school year. Happy Ramadan for all of our families that are celebrating across the district. I wish this time well for all of you that are able to celebrate at this time. For our social workers across the district that do so much for our kids and for our community, let me just go big screen here. Well, wishing them an incredible week and thereafter for all the work that they do on behalf of our children and our families across District 25. So thank you for the work that you do. Women's History Month, super important time in our history. There's so many women that have made just such a tremendous impact on society, and all things that we at times unfortunately take for granted with the women that just do amazing things, including sometimes those that are even closest to us. You know, so it's a special time to make sure that we remind ourselves of the important women in our lives, including those that have made an impact on the history of across the globes. And you're actually going to hear a little bit about that tonight from one of our speakers from Project Soapbox. So I'm really interested to hear her perspective. And this is National Reading Month. As you guys know, reading super important for us here in District 25. We are pushing this across our district within the context of our priorities. And it's not that we need a month of March for it to be National Reading Month for us to be focused on reading. But there's that added incentive of staying close to our books and making sure that we're opening them on a routine basis. So real important that we continue to celebrate the importance of reading here in District 25 and around our city for sure. So we do have a District 25 comic book event that is scheduled for Wednesday, March 12th. We have nearly 200 people that have registered for this event. We're really excited about it. The intent of this event is to showcase some of the resources that are available to us from the New York City Passport curriculum and the Civics for All work within the context of that, as we promote democracy, civic engagement, and social justice. So our families that do attend will engage in some interactive activities and have an opportunity to grab some of those comics on the way out. I personally think they're great. It's a nice way for our kids to really engage in civics work in a fun way. Many of our kids really do engage in those graphic novels, and this is an example of how they can connect with reading in a different way, while also educating themselves around the civic process. So I encourage you guys. There is the registration link on this page. If not, you can go to d25.nyc/event to find more information on what is happening here. We are also hosting an event, and I'm not sure if Diana is on in the background. There's Diana, who, along with Wing, has done an amazing job of getting us organized for our District 25 Wellness Day. Part of Wellness Day is actually a CEC District 25 collaboration, not only just for the Wellness Day, but moving forward, as we're really trying to promote wellness through a collaborative pilot that we are engaged in and part of in New York City. We're one of a handful of districts in New York City that are piloting this collaboration, and I'm really excited about it. And this is kind of the kickoff to us really exploring what do we want wellness to look like, sound like, and feel like across District 25. And that's something that we're going to do together, which I'm really, really excited about. But I asked Diana to join us just to give us a little bit of an update on what Wellness Day on Saturday, March 15th will look like. We have upwards of 275 families that have already replied and registered. We will wind up having a cutoff of around 300 people, as this is the first go around with this. So we don't want to necessarily do more than perhaps what we want, bite off more than we can chew, and then have an event that is really nice and then becomes disorganized just by volume. So we're going to start with that cap of 300 and hoping for a really great success for us to move forward. But Diana, could you give a quick little update for the community around what this event is going to entail?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. We are super excited about next Saturday, March 15th. We'll be kicking off at 12 o'clock noon. We're going to be at the Common Point Bubble at Bay Terrace, and also at 169 Bell Academy across the street. We have upwards of almost 30 vendors who will be participating. We'll have different kind of spots within those spaces. We'll be using the turf, the tennis court, classrooms, the cafeteria, movement space, everything. So some partners that are going to be shared with you tonight, just to give you an idea of what we are going to be looking at. We have USTA, which is the United States Tennis Association. We have Blatant Lacrosse. We have NYCFC, our soccer club. We will be having a local martial arts center coming in, and then we'll also be having some more like classroom-based community health opportunities. We will have the Office of School Food. We will have the Office of School Wellness Programs, both from from our school district. We are going to be having the Relationship Foundation. We're going to be having the Forestdale Inc. I mean, we're going to be having a lot of vendors coming through to share what they can offer to our families, as well as giving some stuff away, which will be great. And we'll also be having Turbobo, which is a hot new thing in our district. Many of our schools have it, so definitely check out that station to learn more about what that is. And we are super excited to have everyone next Saturday, rain or shine, hopefully shine, so that we can get some things going in the outdoor space over at Common Point. Huge shout out to them. They have been wonderful in accommodating us and really doing whatever they can to make this great day happen. So again, we'll be having lots of kind of movement stuff, as well as some mindfulness items, and then definitely we'll be having a lot of tables to provide the community and our families with what there is out there for everyone that is being offered. We'll also have a large presence from the 109 precinct. They'll be doing some tables, and they'll also be providing crossing guards and just like police presence so that we are safe, walking through the busy streets and sidewalks and things like that. So everyone has been super wonderful in making this day really wonderful. So we look forward to everyone, and thank you to everyone who has volunteered and, signed up. We are definitely in the right direction, and this is going to be a great, huge event and a celebration of wellness, which is a huge focus in our district. So thank you, Dr. Mike. Thank you, everyone, for having us. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But we do hope to see you next Saturday, hopefully in the sunshine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. And
Of course.
for the community, Diana, sometimes I just pitch these ideas and then throw them out there. And, I am so grateful that I have folks that just listen to those great ideas and then make them become, a reality. Sorry, folks, we had a little bit of a computer glitch on our end. The main computer just shut down. But just to kind of reiterate, big thanks to Diana and Wing for organizing this event and making it become a reality, as well as our parents. We've had, just in my presentations with President's Council and the CEC, we have parents that are willing, that are behavior specialists, as well as psychologists that are willing to share in this space and offer resources for our families when perhaps there are circumstances that we have some questions around how do we support our children at home, or space of I have questions around mental health, where do I go, what questions can I ask? So it's really a one-stop shop around wellness, in the sense of mental wellness, physical wellness, space of really good, important nutrition habits, as well as social emotional learning. So there are a number of things that are going to be available on this day that we're really excited about, and I'm looking forward to it moving up to the 15th. So thank you again, Diana. Appreciate you. Math Family Night. We have apparently I did not check in too much with my own wife during this time, because I booked a lot of events seemingly in a very short period of time. So we have Math Family Night coming on Thursday, March 27th. This will be the third of its kind this year so far. They have all been really very successful. There will be a range of math games, activities for our families to engage in. There are giveaways for our families, as well as snacks and such. It's been a really, really great set of events, and I do know that this one will be great as well. Now, it is not just for middle school. It's being held at JHS 189, but it's open to all families across grade levels. The last several were at elementary schools, and we had children that ranged in age that attended. So I encourage our families to participate, because it is a really, really great event. Huge shout out to Beth Eaton, who has done an amazing job, not only with our family night events, but also supporting our work in mathematics as a district, creating a district math team with parents, teachers, building leaders, to really make sure that the math instruction in our district continues to take root moving forward. So big shout out to Beth. Upcoming events, already mentioned the Math Family Night. We've already had our iReady session. There is a special education session that is going to be occurring on Tuesday, March 18th. And that is understanding the IEP process for our children that are going to be going into kindergarten. This is a really, really important set of information for any of our families with children that may potentially have been evaluated already, or going into the space of being evaluated to receive an IEP in the fall. Nathan does an amazing job of just connecting with families, making sure they have all the information necessary. And that space of awareness, sometimes that absence of awareness does impact the choices that we make as parents. So it's really important that for those that are going to be engaging in the kindergarten process, that they do attend. It's only an hour long, but chock full of information. Acadience workshops, these were already held in February. All of our families should have received an email from me about Acadians, making sure that you've connected with our schools around the reports that come from Acadians for all children in kindergarten through second grade. If you have not received those reports, I encourage you to please make sure you connect with your schools. Can they hear that one, Alice? Okay. Why is that happening? I am muted. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. And in addition to Acadians, I've also sent out an email to all of our families in kindergarten through eighth grade regarding iReady. It's really important, just as much as Acadians, that our families have tapped into the reports from iReady. Where are your children currently? And then asking those really important questions of our teachers and our building leaders around the progress of your child. If you're not sure how to do that, you can reach out to your school, you can reach out to the district office, and we'd be happy to assist you in that. But it's really important that you're connecting in that way for your child. Uh-oh, what happened there? We're having all kinds of fun going on right now. Sorry, guys. Okay. Summarizing, application window opens on yesterday. Thank you, Louis. And it goes through March 28th. So if this is something that you were interested in, please make sure that you put in that application. Do not wait until the 28th. Try to get it in as early as you can. Applications are not first come, first served, but it is a good idea to get that application in before the end of the window so that you avoid any potential issues with technology. And then you say that you couldn't get on for some reason on the 28th. So Friday, March 28th is the deadline. Families may rank as many summarizing programs on their applications as they like, and students will be added to a wait list automatically for any program they do not receive an offer to. So just bear that in mind. Really important. If you're looking to have that summer program, get those applications in. Kindergarten through fifth grade, it goes from July 2nd through August 15th, Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday is the Department of Education part of the program. Friday is the community-based organization. And for grades 6 through 8, the program runs from July 2nd through August 8th. Again, Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, with Friday being the full CBO portion of the program. Enrollment timelines, Thursday, March 6th, high school offers will be released, which is very, very soon. So for all of our 8th graders, you will have that notification coming very shortly. Wednesday, April 9th, middle school offers will be released. Wednesday, April 2nd, kindergarten G&T offers will be released. Tuesday, May 13th, pre-K offers are released, and Tuesday, May 20th, 3K offers are released. Gifted and talented for grades 1 through 4, Monday, April 21st, applications open. May 9th, the applications closed, and June the 11th, there will be the offers released. Now, Civics for All, we're very fortunate. We have 2 students that are in the audience and 1 that is on Zoom. And I would love for Melinda Willens, who's on our team, who supports both ELA and social studies in the district, as well as supports Civics for All across all of our schools, just to join us just for a moment to share a little bit about the work. And because she does so much work in this, I thought it'd be appropriate for Melinda to introduce our speakers tonight for SOFOX.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. This is very exciting for us. This is the first year that a semifinal round is being added. Well, actually 55,000 students across New York City presented soapbox speeches in January and February at borough events. And of those 55,000 students, 3 of our amazing District 25 students have been chosen to move on to the semifinal round, which will take place on March 25th at Washington Irving High School. And then they will do a semifinal. And then from that semifinal, and I don't know how many students are there, but I think it's like under 50. 10 students from across the city will be chosen for what's called the main stage, where they will present to the chancellor and a larger audience. So we are very excited tonight to have three of our amazing students here. So we're going to start with Ishita Aurora, who's an 8th grader from IS 237. And she is going to give her speech about gender inequality. Louis, where should you
There's a microphone right there. if you-
That's Mike, stop sharing.
Here?
You can stand in front if you want, but the microphone, I don't know if you want the microphone, it's hanging in front.
You can use it if you like. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay.
Good. I want to make sure everyone's getting.
Can I begin?
Yes.
I would first like to introduce myself. My name is Ishita Aurora. I am from IS 237Q. It's a very good school in Flushing, and I will be talking about gender inequality. Gloria Steinem once said, gender inequality, a gender equal society would be the one where the word gender does not exist, where everyone can be themselves. But don't we all still see people through their genders? Imagine being forced to marry under the age of 18 and spending the rest of your life taking care of a family. You may be assaulted frequently. It is terrible even to imagine something like this, right? You wouldn't want to waste your life like this, would you? But this is what happens to many women around the world. Good evening. I'm Ishita, and I'll be talking about gender inequality, an issue that is somehow snuck to be a very normalized deal in our society. What is gender inequality? Gender inequality is the unequal treatment of individuals based on their gender. Females face gender inequality when they're unequally treated and decline certain rights due to them being females. Females have made history. Did you know they assisted in plotting the Boston Tea Party? Another fact, the world's first computer programmer, yes, the computers you're using right now, was Ada Lovelace, a female. Then what leads to gender inequality? Gender norms are one of the biggest reasons for gender inequality. As Save the Children organization states, gender norms are social principles that govern the behavior of men, women, boys, and girls and restrict their gender identity into what is considered to be appropriate. This means during their childhood, children are taught what to do and what not to do based on their gender. This leads to the female population having less access to education than males. In fact, according to humanrightscareers.com, of all the illiterate people in this world, 2/3 are females. Furthermore, a reason is shortage of employment equality. As humanrightscareers.com says, only 6 countries in this world give women the same legal work rights as men. In fact, most economies give women 3/4 the rights of men. A follow-up fact that may shock you, according to the 2023 Gender Pay Gap Report, in 2023, for every dollar a man made, a female made 83 cents. Without giving them the same employment opportunities, they are considered inferior. All this gender inequality with females leads to gender-based violence. As Women for Women organization states, gender-based violence is violence that is directed towards an individual due to their biological sex or gender identity. This includes physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, psychological threats and coercion, deprivation, whether occurring in public or private life. In other terms, females are abused just because of the sole fact that they are females. According to UN Women Organization, in 2022, 48,000 females were killed worldwide by their partners or family members. Imagine a world where everyone is treated equally. No one is discriminated against. Girls could live their childhood like any other kid. Females could educate themselves to become independent. And if more females were given the same opportunities as males, their ideas would help humankind achieve more. So what are we doing to make this a reality? Many organizations such as UN Women, Save the Children are working to make this world an equal place for humankind. Activists such as Malala Yousafzai are working to fight for girls' education. US Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen is working to solve the pay gap issue. These efforts are helping make equality a reality. But as Emma Watson said, we want to end gender inequality. And to do that, we need everyone to be involved. So how can we contribute to helping females around the world? Here's a few steps we all can take Take action now. Rally your classmates, parents, teachers to sign a petition advocating for gender equality. Present this petition at your local council to drive change in our community. Listen and intensify survivors' voices. Doing so can help advocate for those who have suffered in the past. Educate others about this topic. Many people don't even know that this is such a crucial issue in our society. And finally, speak up. If you see or know someone facing gender inequality, stand up for them. Inform authorities and adults that can get help. Your voice can help save lives. Thank you.
I didn't even know what to say. That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Terrific job. Thank you so much for being here and using that voice, to have that call to action. And, for those of you in the audience that may not know, the Project Soapbox is really intended to make sure that our children have an opportunity to really have that call to action, do that research, speak like an expert. And that's what is really so important. It's not just that we're reading informational text, but it's that we're able to use what we've learned in a productive way to speak like an expert and have a call to action. And you did a terrific job of doing that tonight. So thank you so much for doing this.
All right, our next speaker is Matthew Chase from PS 165, and he's in second grade. Ready? Stand right here. Front of the microphone. You want to hold the microphone? Yeah.
I turn on.
Face the audience. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Matthew Chase. I'm 7 years old. Let me tell you a little about myself. I love to write, draw, do art, and I want to be an archaeologist. I have a little brother named Makar, and he is 2 years old. The problem I see in our community is that teachers are giving out too much homework. This is an important problem that needs to be solved because homework can take away from our free time. Sometimes by the time I finish my homework, it's my bedtime. Does it happen to you too? After school is a time to spend with our family. During the day, we're at school and not with our family. At home, we do homework instead of spending time with family. My little brother also wants me to play, but he can't because I'm doing my homework. My solution to this problem is that teachers give out less homework, just enough that we can remember what we learned at school day. Also, we can have more free time with our family, siblings, and friends after. And we can play outside or play video games. I think this is a good solution because we can have more time together with our family and brothers and sisters, if you have brothers and sisters. Please, hear my idea. Kids should have less homework because too much homework takes away from our free time and time with our family. Thank you.
That's awesome, Matthew, and I agree.
Great job, Matt. So Matthew, you're so fortunate tonight that your principal has shown up because I'm sure she is all ears to come up with some interesting solutions to support your concern and your problem that you are having. Because I do know, even as a parent, sometimes when I get home and I want to be able to spend time with my children, sometimes it's their bedtime too. And they, so I think I'm going to put a little space in there for my own homework that maybe I can cut out some of my own, right? Thank you so much, Matthew. You did a terrific job. Way to go. And what I appreciate about this process too is Matthew's a second grader, and the entire time Matthew was speaking, I was captivated and I was listening to what it is that he was saying because he had a message, and he did that with a clear voice and made that eye contact with the audience so that we were glued into what it is that you were saying. You did a really, really great job. And it just shows it does not matter what age our children are, that they can have a voice and use it to be very productive. So you did an awesome job, and I'm really excited that we're able to do this at these types of meetings. And we have another student that's going to be presenting too.
And our final student from PSIS 164 is Sophia Violet. And she's on the Zoom, and her speech is about homelessness.
Hi, my name is Sophia Feleev. I'm from PSMS 164, and today I'll be speaking about homelessness in New York City. I'll never forget the day I walked around NYC and saw a poor homeless teen on the street. He was mumbling words to himself, not understanding what was happening around him. You might feel bad for him or flip him $1. However, this is only one example out of thousands involving homelessness due to mental health issues in New York City. That's why I, Sophia Feleev, want to encourage and promote the construction of mental health facilities for the homeless and help them as much as possible. You may wonder why this is important and how it can affect you. Indeed, having mentally ill homeless people living on the street can create concerns about public safety for others. It could potentially make you feel unsafe. Take it from a New York Post article, which explains how mentally ill homeless people have unintentionally hurt others around them. It states, "We are seeing far more violent incidents from mentally ill homeless people on our streets. From the death of Michelle Go in front of a Times Square subway train in January, to the brutal stabbing of Christina Yuna Lee inside her own Chinatown apartment in February." As scary as it sounds, these are only two examples out of hundreds involving violent incidents that mentally ill homeless people have committed in New York City. It shows how unwell homeless people living on the street can affect others by unintentionally creating unsafe, hostile environments for citizens of New York City. Another reason why we need a larger abundance of mental facilities for the homeless is because of what they've done to help our city and country. For instance, when you see a homeless, unwell person on the street, you may think that they haven't done much to support our community, and most importantly, our city. However, the opposite is true. In fact, according to an NYN Media News article, approximately 53% of homeless New Yorkers are veterans with mental health issues, while 1.5 million veterans are considered to be at risk of homelessness in NYC. This clearly demonstrates how most of our homeless population is made up of people who have risked their lives for the greater good of our country. Yet, in return, they're left on the street without a home and suffering from mental disorders such as PTSD and bipolar disorder. The final reason why we need to increase the availability of mental health facilities for the homeless lies in the fact that the homeless are considered people of New York too, and have their given civil rights. Think of it this way: this person in our community contributes to the overall betterment of our city. These people also include mentally ill homeless citizens, if they were in mental facilities that would aid in their health. However, others are letting them rot outside with no hope whatsoever. It doesn't just affect them or you, it affects our city as a whole. Not helping the mentally ill homeless citizens of our community will contribute to our largely divided society. It would also socially isolate the homeless from the rest of us. For example, the New York Times article named "Helping Homeless People Who Are Mentally Ill" explains how many people and government officials in NYC often neglect and ignore the homeless, especially those who are mentally ill. We protect our city by establishing a largely fit community and would eventually lead to the homeless being isolated from the rest of the people living in New York, as a result of no one helping the homeless and people completely disregarding their civil rights. You currently know why this problem needs to be solved. Now you need to know how we can solve this issue, or how is this issue getting solved? Well, the article "NYC's Plan on Helping Mentally Ill Homeless People" explains how our mayor, Eric Adams, is making a new attempt to build mental facilities for the homeless. He stated, "They will be taken to newly built facilities that would be beneficial for the mental and physical health." This demonstrates how there's an attempt from the government to help solve this issue. Some ways we as citizens of NYC can solve this issue and help the homeless in need is by donating and showing support to the Homeless Assistance Fund, also known as HAF, or the Institute for Community Living, also known as ICL. Both nonprofit initiatives are there to provide support for the mentally ill homeless people of NYC, while building homes and providing beneficial mental health resources for them to thrive. In summary, although some people have attempted to solve this major problem of mentally ill homeless people in our city, this issue is still very much prevalent everywhere in NYC. Not helping the mentally ill homeless residents in need would create concerns about public safety, completely disregard what some of them have previously done to help us, and would violate their given civil rights as people who contributed to this city. If we help the homeless in need in any way possible, we can still change people's lives and help them mentally and physically. Helping the homeless heal helps our city thrive. Together, we can build a safer, kinder New York for everyone. So let's help the homeless in NYC. Thank you.
Sophia, what a terrific job you just did, and you certainly gave me a lot to think about. And the awareness that we do need to have, that many of the folks that do struggle are also those that have paid a debt to, that we owe a debt to for all of the work that they've done on our behalf as being veterans. So thank you for sharing this speech. And, you did a terrific job of including some research, making sure that you were clear with the audience. Great job public speaking tonight. You did a great job. Nice note, one round of applause. Thank you to all of our teachers. Ms. Willens had a group of folks here today in the building working on Civics for All, as we bring our teachers together on a routine basis to really talk about the lessons that are available to teach in our schools, but also to promote student voice. We want to make sure that our children have that opportunity to have that call to action, to really promote their space of civic duty. And the more that they can learn around that at the earliest of ages, the more productive we're going to be creating the citizens of our future and the leaders of tomorrow. So I'm really excited about this work, and I'm looking forward to seeing our next set of speakers during the next CEC meeting in April. Okay, let me reshare. Does anyone have any questions about soapbox or anything before I move on?
I have a question
go ahead.
regarding the summarizing.
Yeah.
When you apply, how does a parent know their child was application was complete?
Yeah, that's a good question. Louis, do they receive a some kind of a notification through the registration process that their registration went through for summarizing?
Yeah, they should get a receipt. Yeah,
They should get it.
A receipt,
Say it again.
some kind of an email. Is it an email receipt, Louis, or is it right to the?
It's an email.
Yeah.
And at any time, they can log into my school account and you can see your application. And what, if it's submitted, what your choices were, and you can actually make changes to the application at any time up until the deadline.
I did. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna ask you a question later.
Thank
you.
So DCEP progress monitoring, this is something that we do throughout the year. We do it 3 times a year. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what the current state of our work is. As you know, we share throughout the year our focus around making sure that all of our students learn to read well. We've really been very intentional around implementation of what we call decodable text. If you're not sure what decodable text is, that our kids are learning through a program called Foundations, which allows and Hegarty, which is the phonemic awareness, where they learn around letter sounds, the sounds that letters make, to the space of being able to decode what those sounds in the symbolic form, to then use that information to kind of form words. And part of what we did learn over the past year was that there was more application that was necessary for our kids to be able to read based on those skills, which is why we spent a lot of time on decodable text at this point of the year. Now, year over year, we have not seen a significant change in terms of overall performance from students in kindergarten through 2nd grade. Small decline from where we were from beginning year last year to beginning of the year this year. The patterns and trends remain relatively consistent. We have about 63% of our 2nd graders currently on or above grade level, stretching down to in the 50s for our kindergartners, which is has not been uncommon for us over the course of time. Now, one space of this that I do want to emphasize is the importance that we do have to place on our English language learners inside of this work, and more work that we have to do to kind of build our new language learners into the space of being proficient readers. When we just talk about our general education students, we're upwards of 80+% of our children that are currently on or above grade level when it comes to reading. But we know that our L's is an important group that we do need to continue to support so that they can become proficient readers over time. So it is a group that we're going to attend to, and you'll see that in just a moment. Our Hispanic learners are a fraction of a percent change from where we were last year. Our Black learners did see a dip from where we were last year at this time by about 2.4%. Our L learners by about 0.19% from where we were last year. Only 33% of our learners have managed to meet that space of proficiency. Again, this is across K through 2. And the subgroup that made the most significant progress from year over year have been our students with IEPs, by about 7.5% from where we were last year at this time to where we are now. So we have seen some progress with some of our subgroups, but certainly not all when it comes to K to 2 at this time. This particular goal I'm going to talk about towards the end, because we are just finishing our fall survey now, winter survey now. It'll be done by next week, and I'll have an update on this for our next session. As I mentioned to you, the area that was most important for us to focus on was around supportive school environment, particularly the space of respect for one another, student-to-student respect for one another. So we'll see what that result looks like after we get back to our next meeting in April. Providing all students with a high-quality academic experience. This is something we've talked about throughout the year, this focus on explicit instruction across our schools. We have seen some progress for our kids in all grades, across grades rather, in reading. We've seen about a 2% change. The goal by mid-year was 2.5% for the year, year over year. So we have seen some progress when it comes to our learners across grades 3 through 8. Our Hispanic learners did grow by 3.67%. Year over year. We are still under what that benchmark is that we set forth, which was 10% across the year. So we were hopeful for 5% at this point of the school year. We still have more work to do in this area. For our Black learners, we did grow by 3% year over year. Again, not meeting necessarily that 5 where we wanted to be by mid-year, but we have made some progress there. Our L learners, as you can see, and this is something that we do need to continue to emphasize. It is difficult for our children that are new to the English language to meet standard proficiency on exam that is talking about grade level work. So year over year, we're still seeing roughly around 7% of our children that have met proficiency that are new to the English language. So this is an area that we are going to continue to focus on. Typically, research calls for 5 to 7 years for our L's to become proficient. So we do have a lot of work to do here and continue to emphasize that work inside of our classrooms, particularly with standalone instruction, where we're looking to build foundational skills, that's use of decodable text and building their content knowledge at the same time. So this is an added space of emphasis that we are placing routinely in our classrooms to elevate this space. And for our students with disabilities, a 3.25% change from year over year, where we were last year to this year when it comes to the iReady performance, mid-year to mid-year. For our mathematics work, again, focus on math routines, discussion in mathematics, 3 reads protocol. Those are all part of our work that we've been doing this year inside of our classrooms. It has resulted in some progress. A little under 2% improvement from year over year for our learners in mathematics. What we wind up seeing in math, different from reading, is far fewer children that are multiple grade levels below standard and more children that are in that space of 1 grade level below, largely because of performance in geometry and measurement. It happens every single year on the iReady assessment. Mostly because the larger parts of the units of study around geometry and measurement tend to happen in the latter part of the year. And we have to do a better job of integrating it throughout the year so that it's not just something that they see and learn in March, April, and May. So needless to say, there's typically the performance on the iReady assessments. By the time we get to the state exam, we do outperform significantly what the iReady says in MOI. And the EOI at the end of the year too. So more to follow on this, but we have made some progress for our learners. For our Hispanic learners, MOI to MOI, it's about a 3.5% change from last year at this time to this year. For our Black learners, about 2.4% change year over year. For our E&L learners, a 3.65% change year over year. And for our students with IEPs, a 3.37% change year over year. And the last group that I want to briefly talk about is the MAP assessment. These are our children that are currently slated to take the Algebra 1 Regents. Children that typically perform pretty well on the Regents are in that high average range. And when I say pretty well, I'm talking about those kids that we're looking to be in that 85 and above range. This is about 8+% more than where we were last year. These are different groups of children. We have over 1,300 children that took the assessment last year. We have over 1,300 children that are taking the assessment this year. And we have seen some progress from year over year when it comes to our children and the Algebra 1 Regents. This is something that's really, really important to me. We did send out our mid-year survey to families just around making sure that there are routine opportunities to receive information around the progress of their children. So when I go to schools and I meet with parents, and typically parents from our school leadership teams or parents that serve as part of parent chats, many of our parents talk about how the schools inform them, whether it's through parent engagement time or progress reports that are coming from the school, or receiving iReady reports or Acadience reports. Those have been pretty common, but we still have a percentage of families that indicate that they don't receive enough information regarding the progress of the children, which is why I did send out my those mass emails to all families in the district. I will continue to do so just for the space of awareness to make sure that all of our families know that they should be connecting with our schools and vice versa, that our schools should be connecting with our families. So more to follow on this. We will continue to push that work moving forward between now and the end of the year through that messaging with our building leaders, but also to our messaging to our families. The second portion of this around academic and social emotional learning, our schools have been charged by me to continue certainly the parent chats across our buildings, but also to create like these relational opportunities for our families to engage in our schools. Some call it First Friday, some call it Families Are for Friday, Families for Friday, Fridays are for families, Welcoming Wednesdays, Together Tuesdays. There's a range of things that our schools are doing. One of our building leaders here had upwards of 300 folks waiting to come in to engage in one of these events where they're able to get into classrooms, see what was going on in our classrooms, and have a better understanding. And it's empowering for our parents to know how to support that. So this is work that we will continue to do because I do believe when we create things that are relational, our parents do want to be involved. They don't necessarily want to be involved if you say, come for a workshop. They will come in and get involved when it's my child is going to be connected in some way, shape, or form. So we're trying to create more and more of those opportunities across the district so that our families can certainly be engaged, but more importantly, empowered to help their children at home and to ask really important questions of our school leaders and our teachers. And I leave off with this one every time because it is important. Our attendance is second highest in New York City. So we do have an extremely positive attendance rate in District 25. But at the same time, we have lots of room here that we need to grow. The goal was that we were going to have 4% reduction in chronic absenteeism rates, which we surpassed significantly when it was November, closing in on December. Since that point, our attendance rates have dipped below where we were last year in terms of chronic absenteeism. Small margins, but still, nonetheless, we are below meeting those targets than where we were last year. And that's something that we do need to continue to work on and change. Our schools all have teams that are focused on attendance. They are working really hard to connect with our families. It's not always an easy thing because the winter months do bring a great deal of challenge, whether it's through the flu or COVID or you name the illness that does tend to happen. But regardless of that, we're going to continue to emphasize the importance of our children being in school every day, because we know when they are not in school, performance winds up getting impacted significantly. So we're going to continue to emphasize it. I want to make sure that our families know that we're not emphasizing it because we want to give anyone a hard time because a child is out. If a child is out and they're sick, they are out and they are sick. But if there's anything that our schools can do in support, that's what I'm interested in, because then we can do all that we can as a building to support our families in any way that's necessary. So This is a really important space of our work as a district and will continue to be until our attendance rates really climb. And that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Thank you so much for your report, Dr. Mike. Every time I hear your report, I know it looks very simple to understand for the parents and for us too, but I know how much you put the effort into these reports.
Yeah, my pleasure. And listen, I think I'm only giving you guys kind of the scratching of the surface, which why any questions that you have, we'll always be happy to answer any of them and support certainly the CEC, but any of our families too. So thank you for that.
And we are very excited for the Wellness Day. And thank you for Diana, since she was our 2022 to 2023 recipient, and then she's the one who started the first bocce team.
And bocce has started again.
Yeah.
We have started bocce again.
And then she also, I remember her Minor presentation last year, April, it was amazing. And she advocated physical wellness, how it could impact our, not just academically, their wellness and any activities that they get involved. So I'm very happy that I get to see her today too.
If I could just say one more quick thing that I didn't mention, I do want to thank Craig from Common Point Queens for opening his doors. I didn't mention him by name, and it's important that I do so. Mary Vaccaro from the UFT has been really instrumental in helping us secure vendors for the event as well. And I know Joe Kessler is a huge proponent of all things related to wellness also, and has been really pushing for this too. As a UFTer as well. So I thank them for their support and, their willingness to engage in this. As they help us get Mind Up, we'll be present as well to share in the event too.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next for the president's report. So per Eden, she doesn't have anything to report as of right now. So if there's anything that comes out, she will bring it up next our council meeting, our general meeting. And also for the next, do we have any public speaking? Any in the chat room or anybody who signed up for the public speaking?
Okay.
Yes.
Take them first, right?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Joe Kessler from the UFT. First, I want to give a shout out to my own home school, PS 107, celebrating 100 years. They're doing different things, and it was a privilege to spend 30 of the 100 years there. So just wanted to say that. Secondly, Matthew, that has been a topic for the longest time. And as a teacher, I'm 100% on your side. Now, you haven't gotten to high school yet. I had this issue. I played sports in high school. I didn't get home until 7 or 8 o'clock, and I lived in the area at Bayside High School. Each teacher gave 45 minutes to an hour of homework. That's 5 teachers. Think about almost 4 hours of homework a night, starting at about 7 or 8 o'clock, depending on when I ate. And I was up until all hours of the night, sometimes finishing it in the morning, and it's a big problem. So I agree with you 100%. It's way overboard. So I'm hoping that your message gets across, not just at the elementary level, but the middle school and high school. So thank you. And the other speakers were just incredible as well. I love when students get an opportunity to come here and speak. One of the topics I wanted to mention is yesterday you may have seen throughout the city, Queens, our district teachers, staff wearing all red. And that was to fight budget cuts. Usually we fight budget cuts city, and we're battling with the mayor and the council. This is more of a really big problem because it's federal. And, you may have heard they want to do away. They hired Linda McMahon as the head of education to do away with the Department of Ed. It's it's not a threat. And we were out there, the AFT, American Federation of Teachers, Randy Weingarten, NICET, the state, the UFT, because we can't exist honestly, the city cannot exist, or any other city, without federal funding. And the president is trying to take away that money for our Title I programs and way beyond that, and give it for vouchers. You know, not so much the charter, it's a voucher issue. And we're gonna continue to be out there, because it's things are moving fast, but we're gonna be out there fighting. And our school system needs federal funding, because it comes down to the state and towards the city. So that's what we were doing. It was Wear Red for Ed, education, and the message is going to be continued, that we need our schools. We have the best schools here in the city, and there are other states as well, and we can't let that happen. So there's conversations, and hopefully they're hearing our message. And the last thing I want to introduce is somebody who I had asked to come. So people, parents, teachers, and staff get to see. I know Dr. Mike in the district office knows Nicole Passaretti. She is what's the UFT district coach for reading. So Nicole, you'll come up and just for a couple of minutes, just explain what you do and where you came from and all that good stuff. But she is really great. And I've gone to a lot of the teacher center workshops in Manhattan and throughout. I think we have 6 or 7, 8 schools that are teacher center schools, but Nicole works with other schools because our teacher center schools already have the training in the reading programs. So thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me tonight. I'm very, very happy to be here and to be a part of District 25. I am Nicole Passaretti. I am the UFT district coach supporting the new shifts in literacy instruction. I came from District 30. I was there for a very long time. I'm very happy to now be in District 25 supporting the teachers, therefore supporting the students. So some of the things that we're doing to support the reading shift is working with the teachers during the day in the classroom with the students. We're focusing on the Into Reading curriculum, which a lot of people have heard a lot about, probably mixed things, but we're really trying to tailor to work for the students that are in front of us, to meet their needs and to make them all strong readers who have success later on in life. We're doing this through in-classroom coaching, a lot of modeling and co-teaching, as well as professional opportunities that are offered after school hours for teachers to join in. So hopefully through all this work that we're doing in the schools, we're making the impact that is impacting the students. If there are any questions, anyone can reach out to me at any time if you want to hear a little bit about the curriculum, a little bit about the things that we're doing, or any concerns that you're seeing with your students or children. You can reach out to me at any time and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Again, thank you so much for having me, and I am so happy to be part of District 25.
Is there any public speakers from the Zoom by any chance? Anybody? No? Okay. So we're gonna move on to the next. New business. Do we have any new business that any council member wants to share? Anything?
No.
Okay. So, now we'll pick a turn. I'd like to call first. Second turn. Second. Thank you. Okay, so. Well,
Also mention to the families if they want to take their kids, they just for the families that are here.
Oh,
You can move
yes.
into the business meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now, we're going to looking for coming over here on the. I totally agree with you. My daughter was not that sweet. But that was supposed to be, she was complaining about homework then. So we found the 1,000 meeting has on now, so if you really. But yeah. We could keep on.
Thank you.
Bob, I'm so sorry. Cause they all, at the end, they told me, oh, I can't be. I can, I was like, okay, let me.
Yeah, it was just the time. It's that. I was able to. This is their first round, your central law and the budget.
Oh, yeah, okay. That will be readjusted. Okay.
Same thing. But it happened. Nothing. But everything else. No problem.
I didn't see any. Okay.
So it's an item in
Oh,
the.
My youngest was yesterday. She had and then nobody, finally like. Like I was like really not. No, like I need to.
All right. Now we'll move forward to the business meeting. Let's call the business meeting to order. It is now 8:16 p.m. I'll do the quick roll call. Eden Rubenstein. Shirley Lee. here. Grace Torres. John Stewart. Isma Junja.
Here.
Alvin Hong.
Present.
Joseph Chow.
Present.
Catherine St. Pierre.
Here,
And Robert Wazorek.
he's here.
Okay, he's here. And Shirley Ziang. Okay, so for business meeting, so for approval of a February minute, we need one more. Currently, we have one. Yeah, we're missing one member, one more member in person to be present to meet the quorum so that we could move forward to approve a February meeting. So we have to move it to the next monthly general meetings. And also, Maribel mentioned that we do have to vote on absence. So what happened is February, Bob was absent, so we need to vote on whether it was excused or unexcused. And for March, is in person, not online, in person. Eden is not, and John, we have to vote on if it was excused or unexcused. That's the rule.
So we're good voting on it, like tonight we're voting on.
No. Next,
No, for the next meeting.
calendar, next general meeting.
Oh, okay.
We have to, I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
And then we'll also vote on February minute next month, and now we're gonna move on to the treasurer report.
Good evening, everyone. Finally, I get to speak. That's right.
You've been asked to speak.
Yeah.
Actually, I was asked to speak last time by Eden. We allocated $1,778 for equipment that was all spent, so I have a balance of zero. I believe we bought the teacher a nice computer.
Yay.
Now,
Thank you, Uncle Joe.
Reimbursement, we allocated $11,000. We spent $5,925. As a result of which we have $5,075 left. Meeting expenses, we allocated $7,760. We spent $260. We have $7,502 left. We allocated $500 on the P card. We haven't spent it, so we still have $500 on it. We allocated $3,870 for equipment, supplies. We spent $3,021. We have now $699 left. We allocated $90 for repairs, nothing broke, so we haven't spent it. We have a zero. No, we spent, something broke. We spent $90 to fix it. Okay, equipment, so we have $0 left. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you for your point.
No, thanks to, thank you for.
So now we're gonna move on to award ceremony discussion. So for the award ceremony, Louis will put the email out for us to get names, and we need to decide what we want to order for order. So at the moment, we have to continuously discuss about the award ceremony through the emails for now. So that hopefully next business meeting, we could kind of settle what we're gonna order and so far, so on, so on.
Are we gonna do 3 students and 2 staff members, just like last time?
But that's just my opinion, so maybe, yeah, we should hear from them too. All right, so any new business to share?
I have a new business, but before we continue, I'd like to introduce Maribel to talk to us about the updating of our CEC bylaws and also the issue of having our own CEC website.
So, hello everyone. Hi, Maribel.
Maribel.
So, according to New York State education law, because community education councils are autonomous bodies, they need to have their own website, particularly when they have amended, they have passed hybrid resolution. So once the hybrid resolution is passed, 2 things need to happen. First is the bylaws amendments and updates to the bylaws to reflect how you operate in the virtual environment. If a member is unable to come in person and they're joining online, when are they allowed to do that, right? If someone's out of town for work, right? Maybe they can't come in person, but they're able to join from wherever they are. And you may say, okay, that's a reason to join virtually, right? Because all members are expected to be in person. So you want to make sure that it's very clear when you're joining online. The other thing is the website. The website needs to have all of the video recordings, all of the minutes, all of the notices. All of those things need to live on the website, and anything else that you would choose to put there.
Maribel, on the, when we adopt the hybrid format and the rules for that, if a member is able to attend remotely, can we pass so that that person is able to vote and present in the meeting as a voting member?
So, by the state law, they can only vote virtually if there's quorum in person, or if they have a medical accommodation, which makes them physically unable to attend.
Okay, so traveling for business is not a medical accommodation. How about for religious reasons?
It depends on what the religious reason is.
Well, like Ramadan, people aren't here for Ramadan.
So I guess we would have to ask legal about that, because I'm not sure what's the reason to not be here. So I understand like needing to break fast, right? And that might be an excuse absence,
Right.
or a reason that the council is comfortable allowing the member to join virtually, right? But as far as them counting for quorum, if you're physically able to be here, but you're not coming because you want to celebrate your holiday in a certain way, which you consider the excuse absence, but legally, it may not count towards quorum.
Okay. Because I'd have the same question, you can say it happens to be Ash Wednesday, there's a 7 o'clock mass, and yeah, some people wouldn't be here for that as well.
Right. So it could be considered an excused absence,
Right,
but
But-
the virtual attendance, it may not be counted as quorum for the virtual event.
yeah, because we suffer for quorum, meeting quorum all the time, so
Right.
any way that we can do do an accommodation that allows us to reach quorum, that'd be great, because we're not gonna get any business done this week, this month, it'll be deferred to next month, so
Yeah.
it's something we're constantly battling.
Mhm.
And I think people are pretty conscientious, they're not showing because they don't feel like being here, they're pretty conscientious, but we can almost,
But your council is unique in that way,
how's that?
where a lot of the members are very conscientious. And there are sometimes when people may take advantage of that, right? And so you don't necessarily have that situation here, but the reason the law is that way is to make sure that people don't take advantage.
Hmm,
So it's kind of like a blanketed, right, it's, the law applies to all the councils.
good, so,
But I could also reach out to legal, to our legal department. Like I'm fine doing that, just to make sure. But I did speak to someone, before. Just to kind of get that guidance, but I could, confirm that with legal.
Did they ever give a justification as to why they raised the quorum number from 6 to 7?
The reason the quorum was raised is because a member was added, which is a D75 paragraph. And so quorum is 50% plus 1. So the entire council is 12. And it doesn't matter if there's vacancies, it's the whole number of people that are allotted to the council.
That makes no sense to me, but anyway, thank you.
I have a question. You did mention that if the member cannot physically attend the meeting because they maybe, let's just say, medical reasons, they have to stay at home, or maybe could be bedridden, but they are able to go on Zoom or even, talk to other members. Do they vote by proxy then?
If there's a medical accommodation and they're physically unable, they would be able to vote virtually.
So then we could have a quorum, but with those special.
in Meredith, how does the medical accommodation work? So whenever somebody gets, I mean, is that we just agree that, okay, Catherine gets a medical accommodation because of whatever reason, and, or how does that work?
There would need to be medical documentation.
Okay, so a doctor's gonna need to say that there's a need for knowledge. Okay. Great,
And
thank
it
you.
could be maybe if they're like, immunocompromised, if,
Okay.
But not
or
like
something.
the flu or not that kind of sick,
No,
at like okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, now that we're all sick.
It's contagious.
All right, is there any new business?
So I would like to add to what we had mentioned before about having our own website. I just would like to suggest that if you can go on to CEC Council 24, 26, which are both based in Queens. You can go take a look at their websites and see how they operate in terms of having their own monthly meetings, documentations, the minutes that are in there, along with members' information in there. And there was another website from CEC 2, which is based out from Manhattan. They also have their own website, and they're run by DOE vendors websites.
I understand the reasons why we need to do that, but I just think it's unfortunate to to lose the spot also on the district's page. It's like, it makes sense that it would be all together too, but I know, it's not even, I don't even know why I said it, because it's not a fight that I could fight. So,
There are links that you can, put a link from the district to go to the CEC and then vice versa, CEC, put a link, goes back to the district for parents, make it accessible for them. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But,
If I may be recognized, were you going to mention the bylaws committee?
oh, yes, so
You're in charge.
after having a meeting with our president, she had asked me to see if I can, take a lead in having this committee. I would hope to have a few more members from this council to work with me in terms of the bylaws. So that, come July of 2025, when there is a new CEC board that would be coming in, that we would have the bylaws, updated and clarified for them.
So how about, so you want,
Well, I will probably send an email,
Okay.
just to see, get feedback from the other members.
okay,
I know that tonight we have 3 members that
Yeah.
are not with us in person.
We volunteer though.
Well, we'll put our minds into it and then, I'll give some suggestions to our president.
I would like to volunteer if I'm allowed to.
of course, you're.
Oh,
more than
thank you.
welcome.
Much appreciated.
Right. Is
Yeah, because I worked on the bylaws for the PTA before, so
Perfect.
Yeah, just past practice with the bylaws from the CEC has resulted in things being added. That I think are really important, including the special education meetings that are now a fixture of what happens every year in October. That happens as a result of the work that you guys were able to do in past CECs. So anything that you do in there is really gonna kind of dictate some of the things, some of the business that you wind up conducting too as a team. So really important work.
Is there any new business that you guys want to share? I have a small thing that I wanted to share. So I've been talking to a lot of parents in my school, PS 32. And I like to promote wellness as well, not just Wellness Day. Well, what we are trying to advocate right now as our district whole is the wellness of our children, wellness of teachers. The wellness is a big keyword right now. So I've been talking to a lot of parents, and then their main concern was 2 things. One was, I mentioned before through our meeting, one was definitely bullying. Number 2 was, second one was more concern. It was about drug issues. How, because most of the parents, 5th grade parents, now their kids are going to junior school. And they realize that in junior school, they're more exposed to, because they could walk home on their own. And now in our neighborhood, there's a lot of vaping stores. And that's how they get in hands of the vaping and etc. So the parents are worried, and they also want to suggest directly to DOE that is there any program in school, like a health education, that they could learn about it so that it's not a good thing. Like they want school to get involved to kind of educate the children about it. So that's why
I mean, health education is part of
Yes.
something that all of our kids have to
Mhm.
experience. I'd have to go and look to see whether or not there's a specific space around vaping. So I think that's just around healthy behaviors and how do we engage in conversations with that. And honestly, I think maybe it's something that we can do in a larger space, and maybe even one of these forums to engage in that kind of conversation, because yes, we do get worried about our kids, going past stores that have that, but it's also about making sure that we engage in those really important conversations as families. What do we say? How should we be saying it to our kids? And what does that look like, sound like, and feel like? Because we can always certainly engage in those discussions at the school level, but that there's that layer of trust that we have to have with our own children that I have with my own. Mine are in 8th and 10th grade. And there are certain rules and sets of expectations that I've set with my children, that they know what my beliefs are and what I expect of them. And they also know the ramifications of a poor choice if they choose to make that choice. So yes, we can do and support that at the school level. And perhaps it's a bigger conversation around how do we help parents navigate through that, as parents, because it's not always that easy when a child makes that poor choice, how do we respond? So maybe perhaps some supports inside of that. And that can be part of our conversation as a wellness collaborative that we're going to be doing around topics that we want to make sure that we're touching on as the year goes on. Just in terms of family support, community support. So that's something that we can certainly talk more about as we engage in this collaboration for sure.
I just want. Oh, Irene?
Oh, hi, Arlene.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, I hope I'm not intruding in this, your business meeting. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to really meet the members of CEC, and I congratulate you all because it was a fascinating meeting. The reason that I want to address you is that the borough president has established, it's really a new concept. He's meeting with the chair people from the community boards, the education chair people, once a month. And there's a lot we found out that we weren't even aware of. We knew there are things going on. It seems that the borough president is asking us if we know of any needs, budget needs, that the community boards can support, that CEC needs for different small programs or whatever. And what I just want you to know is that I am that rep from the community board. And I want you to know that you can call upon me anytime if you find that there is a need for some kind of budgets. We're talking about, he's got $40 million or something. He's got a lot of money. And I think we have to make use of it if something that you need applies. So that's what I wanted to come on to tell you. Mike knows me. He knows where to contact me. So if you have anything or you want to know anything, I could find out at these meetings. We're very excited because I'm learning about the other Queens boards and what their problems are. And, what can I say? District 25 doesn't have the kind of problems, thank God, that go on in other districts, and I'm very proud to say that. But if you do have any knowledge or you're aware of something that you need money for, especially the CEC, I know you don't get a big budget, but you might have things that fit into what the borough president would support. So please feel free to contact me. You can do it through Mike, or you can get the community board. I can give you my number, they'll give you my number, and we can discuss it. Okay? Thank you so much. It was a fascinating meeting. I took all notes, Mike. I wish I had all that on paper. I scribbled. I have to make my reports. I do write my reports.
Thank you so much, Arlene.
Thank you. All be well.
And for those of you who do not know Arlene is a former president of CEC, was actually responsible for the development of lots of things, but in particular, the school that's right across the street, 242. So during her tenure, was responsible for 242 and the development of 244, among a host of other things. Has always been a tremendous advocate for this district and our district community, and certainly continues to do that as a community board representative. So we're always so excited when Arlene's able to join us, but also to offer support when she can. So thank you, Arlene.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also create a draft form of what we were talking the small day. So I share it with you this morning. So please feel free to fill out and also to want to share it with your community. I did it and I have already close to 10 answers.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
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 So does anyone have any thought about the day that I kind of proposed to do them kind of piggyback off of this? Would it be too hard to get here? Maybe even if we did it for 45 minutes before this meeting? Does anyone have any thoughts on that as part of our wellness collaboration in like a once a month type of thing? And Catherine, you're looking at me like,
Yes, I do play basketball.
you're looking at me like, dude, you're
Catherine, we have 2 sandwiches.
Oh my God, I ate meat today, and I'm like, I'm on the phone, my son said, oh, Dad, no meat today, I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, so I blew that one, day one. Mike's in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if not everyone,
Yes.
if not everyone can make it, then we can
Yeah.
always make sure we fill in everyone inside of that space. I know that time is precious and we don't have a lot of it, especially when we have children, jobs, everything else in between.
Today, Speaks will be meeting with wellness advice, so I was attending it at home, but we finished 7:30, so I
Come here, yeah.
I hope the next month, no, the same time.
Same day, yeah.
Because it's like.
So can we tentatively say,
I know.
I'm at that meeting too, so I was like, okay.
can we tentatively say, that we'll put it for just 45 minutes maybe before the CEC meeting? We'll tentatively put it out there, and then you guys can give me feedback as the weeks are coming. If it looks like that's just, Mike, that's not gonna happen, then we'll figure out something else during the CEC meeting at some point, to establish what that date and time will be for me to call that meeting, together. Because I'm really, I can't speak for any of you, but I'm really excited about what we can get accomplished with this space of wellness. I do think there are a lot of needs in lots of different ways.
Yes.
Whether it's through
Yes.
the space of mental wellness, through the space of social emotional learning, allowing our kids and families to learn how to manage through difficult times. There's just so many reasons, whether it's, a personal life, a work thing, a school thing. There's so many reasons that things can get into our own headspace that makes every day difficult. So I do think that if we create an opportunity as a district to figure out what can that look like across our school, across our district, putting a definition on it, and then creating space for what that can be, not just in an event like a wellness day. That's a fun day, right? We get to share information, but making it a sustainable practice, I think, is an even bigger chore that we have. And I think if we do it right, it can be really beneficial to our community, but our schools too. So I'll put out a tentative email that we'll try for 6:15, maybe we'll 6:15, whatever. I don't want to even put a name on it because it's like 6:15.
You're gonna need a reminder.
I'll put it out into the CC so you get a blast that will give you a reminder email that 6:15 on that day, we do the best that we can. If it doesn't work out, we'll try another day. Just to kind of get us started and getting the ball rolling. In terms of the survey, I have to be honest, Grace, I have not had a chance to review it yet, but I will. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to get feedback from our community in this area. So encourage all of you. Did anyone else get feedback, by the way? Anyone have a chance to speak to any parents about this? Other than the vaping scenario, which I know is a concern. But anyone else have any thoughts around or hear from any families around wellness before we break?
I haven't spoken to parents about, but I do remember that, I don't know if they recently, changed the law, and that aren't certain business near schools have to be like a certain, like
Distance?
Distance away from school.
distance from schools that,
Yeah,
they're not allowed to
because
operate.
It's on like the walking path. It's like.
Yeah,
The kids are passing it anyway, even if it's not across the street or right next door, it's on their way, and it's like far enough away from school that like they're out of the purview of other adults that would see them walking in there. But, so they wanted to get away with doing the wrong thing. Nobody's gonna stop them
Right.
unless they've got.
And I really do believe those conversations that you have at home with your children are so important. Yes, we can do that at the school, but there's got to be that mutual relationship between parent and child, and certainly school and child. But there's something that I always think about when it comes to this, and it is what my father would say to me anytime I left the house. And I'm not trying to sound like a goody-goody, because I certainly made my mistakes growing up too. But before I left, my father would say the same thing, same set of words. Mike, do the right thing. Before I left the house, every time, before I left, and you know what, as a kid, I'd wait till he said it, because I had to hear him say that before I left the house. Mike, make sure you're doing the right thing. And that's what he left me with every single day that I left the house. And because of that, I tried as much as possible to not do something that would disappoint him as my father. So I think there's a balance between that. And how do we make sure that families that struggle with that also have the knowledge around how do they create those boundaries with their children so that more often than not, they make the right choice and not the one that gives you the agita and say, why did you do that?
Yeah.
But why would you do that? Right? And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Kids are going to make mistakes. We just hope that more often than not, they choose the right path rather than the wrong one. Yeah, go ahead, Charles.
I like what you said, why'd you do that? Because that's after the fact. So like,
Mhm.
one of the issues many of the parents have is that they cannot communicate with their children. Because the children don't speak whatever language, Chinese, whatever dialect they speak, and the parents don't speak English. So the only communication they have is mom, give me money, dad, give me money, I'm hungry, can I buy this, that?
Mhm.
There's nothing else. Me, I had parents, I mean, like, I don't know, 10, 20 students, parents ask me the most ridiculous question. Right? Then I realized because they don't know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right? And then they can't, they will say to me, how do I say this in English to my child?
Mhm.
And that's an issue because they can't have that conversation. Right? I told my son, no drinking, no smoking, drugs, nothing. Right? He goes, Dad, I know, don't worry.
Mhm.
But I tell him, I say, if you want to drink, let's drink at home. No, it's okay, I'm not drinking. Right? But some parents don't have that conversation because they can't.
Yeah, listen, but I think that's part of this conversation too,
Yeah.
right? How do we open up that opportunity and space for folks that have that difficulty? How do we bridge that scenario too? Because there are lots of barriers that exist. Truly lots of barriers that exist, that just being one of them. Which is, like I said, why I'm excited about this. It's school, yes, being able to communicate with kids, but there's nothing more important than the parent having that discussion with their own child. And being able to communicate effectively. So I agree. There's lots of work to be done there, but I will send out something tentative, 6:15 for us the next time. I'm gonna look at the survey. I'm sure it's terrific, and then we can start getting it out there more frequently, just for you guys to gather some, as you're touching base with parents on your way into the school, just some things we're wondering about, and then it'll help form our next steps as a group. Okay?
So I think about, we came out, another question about the main issues that parents are
having.
because for now, I only put 3 questions about slogan, about the why, and any additional comments, but we can take advantage of
Expand.
this part. But it's like the first step, yeah?
100%.
Because that was our
Initial agreement,
yes.
yep.
But yeah, please, feel free to share your concerns or just comments.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's a great first step for us to make a definition around wellness for District 25. I'm really excited about it. I really am.
Any more business?
I just have one last question. We still didn't get the answers from the chancellor that they didn't answer at the town hall.
Maribel, do we have any feedback around the answers from the?
I don't, but can you send me an email?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's something I can follow up with too.
okay.
I'll follow up on it also.
I also need an email and the name of the person who is in charge of translation.
I already sent the email.
You did?
Yeah. And I included the
Okay, I'm gonna look again.
It's in simplified Chinese.
By the way, my budget was not bad, Maribel, I just.
together.
All right.
She told me how to solve a problem.
Do you mind sending it to me again, because there's too many emails from you.
Can you send it or get too many? Oh my God.
No, it's really for good cause. It's really for good cause.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, of course.
what should I put it nicely, the ones that never like went to high school or college in China, they can't read it, they just take the traction. And there are all kinds of mistakes, they translate the chancellor twice differently. I have a feeling they're using Google Translate. Right? Okay, if you're using Google Translate, it's a matter of clicking simplify Chinese so complicated. That's just that simple. You can do both. Do both.
I get it. I wouldn't be able to look at either of those two and make sense of whether or not it's in simplified or.
So we know how checks the wrong box.
It is on my bucket list to be able to learn all of these different languages for the community, but I have not gotten there yet.
Your message going out to Chinese communities, I would say 80% of whom couldn't read it. Right? We don't want that.
No, 100%. I get it. I get it.
Meeting to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night. We really have to take one.